1-888-567-7287. I'm Brett Winterble. It's Covert Radio. It's your place for American intelligence. Let's see what's going on out there on the Newsmaker line.
It's the people who make the policy and those who analyze it. It's the Covert Radio Show Newsmaker.
All right, now I got this gentleman long distance from Sweden, because this show has no boundaries in terms of who we'll talk to. We wanted to go all the way to Sweden. Kent Ekeroth is running for a seat in the parliament over there as part of the Sweden Democrats. Welcome to Covert Radio, Kent.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
I appreciate you making time for us today. One of the platforms that I've been reading about that you're running on, and I first became aware of this at the Gates of Vienna blog, is that you are concerned about the Islamization of Sweden and of Europe. Can you talk a little bit about what you're seeing there in your country?
Yeah, sure. The Islamization of Sweden and Europe is it's pretty far gone. And I'd say that Sweden is second worst out after England. And it has a lot to do with the lack of cultural confidence that Sweden has. And, of course, political correctness in the system. What we're seeing today, and what we've been seeing for the last maybe 20 years, is a mass immigration of Muslim immigrants to Sweden. Last year, we have broken the record of immigration 3 years in a row now, and there's no signs of that stopping anywhere soon. So we see this. We have no-go zones in parts of Sweden where ambulances, police, construction workers get attacked by Muslim mobs when they enter. We have demands for adaptation to Muslim demands, like take away pork in schools and have separate bath times for men and women, all to abide by Muslim demands. So it's a very worrying situation in Sweden, I'm afraid.
So what we're talking about basically is forget creeping Sharia. It's sort of coming already there. How much have you been inspired by the efforts of guys like Geert Wilders down in Holland and people like that trying to lead the fight? Melanie, I'm drawing a blank on her name right now, but the author of Londonistan over in the UK.
Melanie Phillips, yeah.
Yeah, Melanie Phillips. How much of this has inspired you to kind of try to do this?
Well, I have to say, from a very early age, I saw the problems. I mean, way before 9/11, I fought the Islamization the best I could in newspapers and arguments. I've been aware of this problem for a long time, even before I heard of Geert Wilders. Of course, he's very inspiring because he's recently had so much success in Holland that they expect him maybe to even become the next Prime Minister of Holland. So that's, of course, a huge boost. And when they go to elections in 2010, if he wins and if he becomes Prime Minister, it's going to be a big thing in Europe. And fortunately, we see sort of a bit of a tide turning because we have parties that see the problem with Islamization all over Europe now. We have them in Norway. They're polling second or first. We have in Denmark that has had a huge influence, and so on. So we see this tide slowly turning. But then again, we're up against a system that's been around for at least 35 years, where the left wing is holding all the major positions in society, in media and politics and so on.
It's kind of a fascinating situation. Kent Ekeroth joins us. He's running for the parliament there in Sweden as part of the Sweden Democrats, and he's worried about the Islamicization of what's going on in Sweden. I guess in the case of, like, say, France or Spain or any of these other countries, Italy, who had colonies in the Muslim world. I mean, Holland had colonies in Indonesia, and it would make sense that there would be a huge Muslim population coming into those countries because there was a colonial connection, even with the Brits in Pakistan, let's say. Yeah. Why Sweden? Why was Sweden a destination for Muslim immigrants, and why did they then not integrate into the society?
It all stems from pretty much the left-wing 68 movement. In the 68, as we know, there was a big left sort of wind going through, Europe, I'm sure America also. And they decided to go into key positions in society, to become teachers, to become politicians, to go into journalism. And they really had a great success with dominating these fields. And from 68 and onwards, in the mid-70s, the Swedish government decided to loosen up the immigration. And they started with this huge immigration we've seen ever since. So Sweden hasn't had any colonies, but we are very much affected by the political correctness, by the politicians. They all think, they can, as Mark Steyn said, feel warm and fluffy towards everyone, and everything will be all right. They have this multiculturalist agenda or ideology, which they think will work, and it pretty much stems from this.
Where are the majority of Muslim immigrants coming from to Sweden?
There's a lot of Iraqis lately. Since the war in Iraq, we had a lot of Iraqis, and a lot from the Middle East and Somalia. We have a lot too.
Right.
But for the recent years, it's definitely been most Iraqis. Yeah.
Now, how have you been received? Have you gotten pushback from the Muslim populations in Sweden right now?
Not directly from them. It's more from the Swedish society that doesn't really accept any deviance in politics, especially when it comes to immigration. I got fired from my internship at the Swedish embassy in Israel 3 years back because I was a Sweden Democrat. They fired me because of that.
Wow, that is that's amazing. I'm
not the only one in this party. We have other members that got fired from the job. They got excluded from unions, etc., just because they're in this party. We have politicians that, went in the media and said, boycott this man and his company because he is a member of this party, etc., etc. And when we hold square meetings, for instance, this is a right we have in the Swedish constitution.
Right.
We hold square meetings. And we're supposed to be protected by the police. But we're not. They're letting the left-wingers stand 3 feet from us and, throw stones and attack us, and they don't do anything about it.
That is outrageous. That is absolutely outrageous. Kent, are you finding greater support with young people, or is that who seems to be turning out to back you up, or is it a cross-section of ages?
Yes, we have a lot of support. Our party has a lot of support from the younger generation, definitely, because they live in the reality. They can't escape to a rich suburb somewhere and don't see the problems. They're in the schools and then they see the problems up close. So we have a strong supporter base among the youths in Sweden.
When is your election?
We have one now, which I'm a candidate for to the European Parliament on 7th of June. And then a year later, in September, we have for the Swedish Parliament. So this candidacy is for the European Parliament.
Wow, that is interesting. You're going to have the election on the exact same day that Lebanon's voting in their elections. Probably going to see Hezbollah come to power.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let me get your thoughts on this, because I know you're obviously an aware guy. You're following what's going on in politics. Do you have any reaction to the President Obama's speech in Cairo today, reaching out to the Islamic world? We mean you no harm. We want to work with you.
Yeah, I read about it, and I actually wrote a post about it. And I call Obama lame nowadays. And I did so actually even before he got elected president. Because I think he's doing exactly the same thing as Chamberlain did in 38. Talking about peace in our time and trying to appease those who can't be appeased. So I think it was a disaster that he got elected president, and I think it's going to be, it was a victory for the Muslim world, I'm afraid.
And yet they don't seem to be, it seems like this is the third or the fourth apology speech or reach out speech that he's given to the Muslim world. And like I said earlier in the show, tonight and tomorrow in madrasas and mosques around tomorrow's Juma, they'll have all these imams and mullahs rebutting every single thing the president said. I mean, the speech only lasts for so long. You have a website. Where can people go to show their support, their solidarity with you, Kent?
My website is kentekeroth.se, but it's actually in Swedish, so I don't know how American listeners will...
The good news is that's how I found you, because if you go through Google, it does offer Swedish translation, so I was able to actually run it. The one good thing about Google is it offers Swedish translation. I'll tell you what we're going to do, because people I'm sure are going to be interested in kind of just lending some support to you to the extent that we can from overseas. I'll link back to covertradioshow.com. Folks can kind of say hello and connect with you. And Kent, definitely keep us apprised of how things turn out in the election. We'd love to have you back on the show, man.
Definitely, I will. Let's keep in touch and talk soon again.
Right on. I'll tell you what, I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to come back to you. I'm Brett Winterble. That's Kent Ekeroth. He's running for the European Parliament. He's worried about Islamicization. What do you think? 888-567-7287. I'm Brett Winterble. It's Covert Radio. Back after this.